Brooklyn Independent Television.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining me, we're here with Elio Velez of Daily News, and we're discussing the high school football regular season now that it's over, and we're moving into postseason play. Now, Elio, we were also discussing a little bit about Staten Island. We moved around the borough, around the city. And in terms of Susan Wagner, we said Paterzo has been there for quite some time.
Right, has to, low numbers. They don't have a home field because their field's being reconstructed at the moment. They struggled, but they didn't get in. But they still, with low numbers, they still fought their best, and they just missed out on a playoff spot. So, Wagner's facing some tough times, but, once they get a home field next year, they should be back on.
All right. Now let's go to the, as far as the Brooklyn Championship Division, we have Canarsie.
Oh, Canarsie maybe.
And Canarsie is in a strange position because right now, from what I gather, Camadizi, the coach, has to deal with 4 principals. So Canarsie is not the Canarsie it used to be.
No, it's not. Canarsie a few years ago had to shut down because of low academics, and they had to restructure into 4 smaller academies.
Right, and he's no longer working in the school, he's only a coach now.
Right, and you have to deal with 4 different principals and 4 different standards.
So that's 4 different principals, that's 4 different attitudes.
4 different dismissal problems. Yeah, and there's also time to get the field, which he's had issues of getting field access for his players and time to practice. And he's had to battle with low numbers over the years and the problems with the schools closing down. And this year, he's done a great coaching job. Mike Caradisi's got them to finish 3rd place. It was 7-2. Fantastic year for Canarsie. They've recorded some big wins. I always covered the game for the Daily News where they won on the road at Clinton. They came back from 14 points down to win. Great defense. Don Travell Smith, who you're going to hear about a lot more next year. He's a junior. Fantastic player. They do with defense. They do enough offense. But what Caradisi has done with those problems last few years to get them in the championship and the playoffs and a home seed for probably the first 2 rounds, that's a great job.
So just getting them on the field.
Oh, absolutely. And they lost 54-0 to Lincoln in that snow day, but that was just crazy. But you can't discount how well the job Caradisi has done.
Sheepshead Bay.
Oh, great
regular season.
Yeah, they've had a good regular season. Fred Snyder has gotten to the playoffs almost 16, 17 straight years, and they started off the season strong. They recorded some big wins. They finished the season reeling a little bit, but they're 5-4. But when you face Brooklyn, they lost to boys and girls. They lost to Lincoln at Lincoln when they were undefeated. So she said, they were tough. They could run the ball. They play decent defense.
We got to talk about Lincoln High School also now.
Lincoln?
I mean, they are just steamrolling over teams. The way it looks now, the championship is theirs to win, and it's theirs in the playoffs. It's theirs to lose. If they don't get that far, it's got to be their fault.
The year they've
at this rate that they're playing. Right
at
now.
This moment, you can argue that they're the best team, and because of all the injuries that's happened to the other contenders, with Fort Hamilton, with Tottenville, with Erasmus.
And I believe they have revenge as a factor ever since that loss.
Oh, absolutely. They're playing players
in the championship game to Fort Hamilton 8-6 last year.
Oh, it's a tough loss. Yeah. And most of those players came back from this year, and they remember that. Kareem Folks, the running back for Lincoln, who arguably could be player of the year. He's been fantastic. 5 touchdowns against Canarsie. He's had a great start. I mean, great year for Kareem Folks. Denzel Duchesne has helped. But Jessel Jones, the quarterback, has been the most surprising.
And he's young also. He's only 16.
He's only 16, but Jessel is his first year starting on the varsity level. That's a tough thing to do. And also, and he learned a lot, though, last year from Andrew Vitale and that team that went to the championship last year. He faced off against a defense that featured, Ishaq Williams, who went to Notre Dame. So he had experience. And that team is balanced. Offensively, they're balanced. And defensively, no big names, but they do a great job.
Jefferson High School. One of the toughest schedules in the PSAL right now. You have to agree. And the coach has been complaining about that a lot. He said, "Man, we have a tough schedule, and we don't get a week off at all."
Absolutely don't. But they play in Brooklyn, which like in basketball, we talk about how they're the toughest. So up and down. You don't know which Jefferson shows up, but they got a lot of talent. Kendall Thomas, they have a lot of speed. You don't know which team shows up, but they can win. They can go far in the playoffs as a 14th seed. So that Canarsie Jefferson first round game, you never know what Jefferson can show up, but they could win.
We got to wrap up this segment right now, but when we come back, we will continue more talk about the playoffs and regular season play right after this.
Follow us on Twitter at BK Independent TV.